Gym sports. Gym sports include gymnastics, weightlifting, and combat sports, such as fencing and judo. The most popular is probably gymnastics, with its beauty of movement. In combat sports, competitors use either striking or holding techniques against an opponent. Weightlifting is a test of pure strength. The beam. The beam is one of the most precise events in gymnastics, and needs extraordinary skill. A winning team gymnasts have their individual points added together to see which country has the best team overall. Famous competitions. Gymnastics, the Olympics. Gymnastics were part of the ancient Olympic Games over 2,000 years ago. The International Gymnastics Association was formed in 1891, and gymnastics were included in the first modern Olympic Games held in Greece in 1896. Women's gymnastics were introduced into the Games in 1928. The Olympics are staged every 4 years and will be in Australia in the year 2000. Winners of most Olympic gold medals, 9. Larisa Latinina, USSR, 8. Soyo Kato, Japan, the World Championships. The Gymnastic World Championships were first held for men in Belgium in 1903. Up until 1913, when they stopped, the championships were every 2 years. In 1922 the championships were brought back and were staged every 4 years. Since 1979 they have been held every 2 years. The Women's Championships were introduced in 1934. Winners of the most World Championship gold medals, 7. Dmitry Bilazarkev, USSR, 6. Yuri Korolev, USSR, 6. Vitaly Skurbo, Belarus, 6. Danila Silivas, Romania. Combat sports. In combat sports, the two competitors use their hands to hold or strike opponents. In some, they are armed with sticks. Judo, which means the gentle way, is one of the Japanese martial arts. Competitors try to throw each other to the floor for an outright win, or ippon. Karate. Karate comes from Chinese, and means empty hand. Judo. Judo contestants, judokas, are judged on throwing and holding. Rules and regulations. Judo. Judo takes place on a mat 16 m, 17.5 yard, square. The contest area in the center of the mat is marked by a red band. Before the contest, the opponents follow Japanese custom by bowing to each other. Then the referee shouts Hajime, and the contest begins. The opponents fight for a set period of time. In the Olympics, this is 5 minutes for men and 4 minutes for women, unless an outright win is achieved earlier. There are 3 ways in which a competitor can gain an outright win or ippon: by making a perfect throw which leaves the opponent flat on his back, by holding an opponent down with his back to the ground for 30 seconds, or by gaining a submission. This is, when the opponent gives inches. Competitors can use legs, hips, hands and feet to knock their opponent off balance. Karate. There are 3 types of attack in karate: kick, blow and thrust, and these may be delivered by the outer edge of the hand, the knuckle, the ball of the foot, the heel, forearm, knee and elbow. These can only be aimed above the opponent's waist, at areas including the head, face, chest and back. Each successful attack scores a point, and a total of 3 points wins the match. If neither competitor scores 3 points within the time, the 2 judges decide who is the winner. Find out more. Other martial arts. Aikido is a pure Find out more. Other martial arts. Aikido is a purely defensive sport involving twisting and throwing techniques. A variation is Tamiki Aikido, where competitors use rubber or wooden knives. Jiu-jitsu is a hand-to-hand form of Japanese self-defense which allows hitting, kicking, kneeing, throwing, and choking. In kendo, opponents fence with wooden sword-like sticks. Masks and padding are worn for protection. Taekwondo is a kicking and punching sport fought over 3 2-minute rounds. Competitors wear head guards and chest protectors. Famous for its flying kicks, kung fu moves are launched from one of 5 basic foot positions, the normal upright position, and 4 stances called dragon, frog, horse riding, and snake. Boxing. Boxing takes place in a roped-off ring, where the 2 competitors hit each other with padded gloves. A boxing match lasts a set number of rounds, or until a boxer is unable to defend himself. They try to score points by landing good punches. A hard punch may result in a knockout. There are competitions for different weights. The lightest boxers are known as light flyweights, and the biggest boxers are named super heavyweights. Amateur boxers wear head guards to protect themselves, and their fights are shorter than professional fights. Rules and regulations. Boxing. Boxing is divided into a number of different weights. Boxers can only fight people from the same weight division. On the morning of a fight, both men go to a weigh-in to make sure that they are within the correct weight limits. A boxing ring is 4.27 m x 6.1 m, 4 yard x 6 yard, for professional fights, and 3.66 m x 4.88 m, 4 yard x 5.25 yard, for amateur bouts. The raised floor of the ring is canvas with a foam backing. The 4 sides of the ring are lined with 3 ropes which are stretched between 4 padded corner posts. One boxer starts the fight from the red corner, the other from the blue corner. The other 2 corners are neutral. Boxing gloves weigh between 170 g and 283 g, 6 to 10 ounce. Boxers must also wear a gum shield inside their mouth. Fights consist of a number of 3-minute rounds. Amateur bouts last for 3 rounds, but professional fights go on for 10 and, in the case of title fights, 12 rounds. A bell is rung at the start and finish of each round. At the end of each round, the boxers go to their corner for a 1-minute rest and to be treated for any cuts by their training team. These people are called seconds. These breaks are the only time in a fight when a boxer may receive help. Boxers must hit with only the knuckle part of the glove. Any blows must land above the waist. These can be on any part of the opponent's body except for the kidneys, the back of the head, and the back of the neck. Punches to the back of the head or neck are called rabbit punches and are not allowed. Many fights do not go the full distance. If a boxer is knocked down, the referee counts to 10 to give him the chance to get to his feet. If the fighter doesn't get to his feet within the 10 seconds, it is a knockout and the fight is over. Often, even if the boxer does stagger to his feet inside the 10 seconds, the referee decides that the fighter is in no fit state to continue and stops the fight. Victory goes to his opponent. The referee can stop the fight at any time, if he thinks the boxer can no longer defend himself properly. Sometimes, the men in a boxer's corner will decide that he has taken enough punishment and will throw a towel into the ring. This means that he is giving up the fight and the other boxer is declared the winner. If the fight is not stopped before the set number of rounds have been completed, the judges decide who is the winner. Both boxers are marked out of 10 for each round, the one who lands most good punches getting most points. At the end of the fight, the points are added together to find the winner. During a fight, the referee will warn a boxer who commits a foul. This could be for a rabbit punch, hitting below the belt, below the waist, kidney punching, headbutting, holding, punching with an open glove, or failing to break from a clinch when the 2 men's arms are locked together. In addition, an opponent must not be hit when he is down or getting to his feet when the referee has halted the fight for a moment, or after the bell has been rung to signal the end of the round. Any boxer who fouls more than once risks being disqualified. Kickboxing. An unusual form of boxing is kickboxing, where blows are made with bare feet as well as with gloved fists. Famous competitions. World Championship. The first World Championship fight was in July 1884 when Jack Dempsey won a middleweight title. There are now 17 weight divisions ranging from the heavyweight, over 190 lbs or 86.2 kilograms, to the strawweight, limit 105 lbs or 47.6 kilograms. The National Boxing Association was formed in 1920, and this was changed to the World Boxing Association, BA, in 1962. There is now also the World Boxing Council, WBC, International Boxing Federation, IBF, and the World Boxing Organization, BO. Past undisputed heavyweight champions, 1987. Mike Tyson 1978. Leon Spinks 1974. Muhammad Ali. Fencing. The sport of fencing grew out of the practice of dueling with swords. But the lightweight fencing weapons have blunt tips, so there is little risk of injury. The two opponents use one of three weapons: foil, épée, or sabre. A fencing bout lasts until the agreed number of hits has been made, or until the time limit has been reached. Fencing needs concentration and awareness at all times. Quick to react. Competitors react quickly to a variety of moves. Being agile and alert is essential. Rules and regulations. Fencing. The foil can be up to 110 centimeters, 3 foot 8 in length, and weigh up to 500 g, 17.5 ounce. It has a four-sided blade and is used by men and women. In foil competition, hits are scored with the point only. The target area is the top half of the opponent's trunk or body, front and back. Each time the point of the blade touches that area, a hit is made. But the arms are not legal targets. The épée is the same length as the foil but can weigh as much as 770 g, 27 ounce. The triangular blade is stiffer than the foil, and the target area for a hit is the whole body, from head to toe. Like the foil, hits are made with the point only. Men and women fence with the épée. The sabre can be as long as 105 centimeters, 3 foot 6 and weighs up to 500 g, 17.5 ounce. It has a much larger hand guard than the foil or épée, and the blade is V-shaped and narrow. Only men use the sabre, which scores points from other areas of the blade besides the point. Hits can be made by cutting or slicing, as well as thrusting. The target area is the whole of the body above the waist, including the arms. Contests take place on a mat called a piste. This measures 2 m, 6 foot 7 wide, and 14 m, 46 foot long. They start with the fencers taking up the on-guard position. Most bouts last 9 minutes, with breaks after 3 and 6 minutes. The winner is either whoever is leading at the end of the 9 minutes or the first person to score 15 hits. Hits are recorded electronically through wires which are attached to the fencers. Hits that are made on target are automatically shown on the scoreboard. If a fencer is twice forced back over his rear limit line, he suffers a penalty hit. Sumo. Sumo wrestling is the national sport of Japan. The sumo wrestlers, or rikishi, are the giants of combat sports, weighing as much as 264 kilograms, 582 pounds. Despite their size, the top wrestlers combine strength and speed. They try to push, pull, carry, or throw their opponents out of the circular ring. There are no weight divisions in sumo wrestling and contests are usually over in 10 seconds. Bear hug. Sumo takes place on a dohyo. This is a raised, clay circle marked with straw. Rules and regulations. Sumo. Sumo wrestlers fight on a raised clay mound known as a dohyo, 6m, 6.5 yard, square. Within this square is a circle 5m, 5.5 yard, in diameter and marked with rice straw. This is the actual wrestling area. Before each contest, there is a lavish ceremony which ends with the two wrestlers staring into each other's eyes, preparing themselves for the battle. The wrestlers wear only loincloths and usually grip each other by a large belt around their waists. The loser is the first man to touch the ground with any part of his body, except his feet, or to be forced out of the ring. Even if only a strand of hair touches the ground first, the man loses. Fighting must be with open hands. Punching, kicking, hair pulling, eye gouging and strangling are not allowed. Wrestling. In wrestling, there are different competitions according to the weights of the competitors. Wrestlers only fight opponents in the same weight division, from light flyweight to super heavyweight. The fighters use a variety of complicated and painful holds. The aim is to wrestle the opponent to the floor in the hope of gaining a match-winning fall. Most wrestling matches are for two people, but there are tag matches between two pairs. Ancient sport wrestling is one of the oldest, most basic sports. Wall paintings in ancient Egypt depict wrestling in 2350 BC. Rules and regulations. Amateur wrestling. Amateur wrestling takes place on a mat. The fighting area is a circle 9m, 10 yard, in diameter. Freestyle bouts last 3 rounds of 3 minutes. But a contest can finish before the end of the 3 rounds, if one of the wrestlers obtains a fall. To do this, he must pin his opponent's shoulders flat on the canvas for 1 second. If there are no falls in the 3 rounds, the decision is made on points by the judges. Points are awarded for special wrestling moves, and the wrestler who has totaled most points during the contest is declared the winner. Points are taken away for dangerous or unfair maneuvers such as strangleholds, ear twisting, or twisting an opponent's arm behind his back more than 45 degrees. When throwing an opponent to the floor, a wrestler must drop to one knee so as to reduce the chance of injury. The other Olympic event is Greco-Roman wrestling. Here, holds below the waist are not allowed, and the wrestlers must not use their legs to grip or trip their opponent. Professional wrestling. Professional wrestling takes place in a ring similar to a boxing ring. The fights go on for much longer, with 5-minute rounds. The winner is the first wrestler to achieve 2 falls, 2 submissions, or a knockout. To get a fall, the opponent's shoulder blades must be held down on the canvas for a 3-second count. If a wrestler is locked in a really painful hold, he may choose to submit, or give inches. He does this by tapping on the canvas. If a wrestler is thrown out of the ring and does not manage to climb back within 10 seconds, it is a knockout. Similarly, if he does not recover from a throw within 10 seconds, he is said to have been knocked out. In professional wrestling, almost anything is allowed apart from punching, hair pulling, eye gouging, and any hold that causes the opponent to choke. Gymnastics. Gymnasts must combine acrobatic ability and muscle power with graceful movement. Women perform 4 different types of exercise, while men perform 6. For each exercise, the gymnasts are awarded marks out of 10. There are 2 Olympic events, artistic gymnastics and rhythmic gymnastics. Difficult moves. To win a major tournament, a gymnast must include difficult moves in a routine. Aiming for the top, gymnasts spend many hours each day training. Rules and regulations. Gymnastics. Usually there are 6 judges. Their highest and lowest scores do not count, and the competitor's score is an average of the other 4 marks. The Olympic artistic gymnastics competition is in 3 parts. First, the gymnasts perform on all of the apparatus, and those with the highest scores go through to the all-round final. The early scores are now forgotten, as the gymnasts again compete on each piece of apparatus. The competitor with the highest aggregate total score in the all-round final is the champion. In the third part of the competition, the top scorers from the first round go on to the individual apparatus finals for floor, horse, beam, and so on. Famous competitions. The Olympics. Gymnastics were part of the ancient Olympic Games over 2,000 years ago. The International Gymnastics Association was formed in 1891, and gymnastics were included in the first modern Olympic Games held in Greece in 1896. Women's gymnastics were introduced into the Games in 1928. The Olympics are staged every 4 years and will be in Australia in the year 2000. Winners of the most Olympic gold medals in gymnastics: 9 Larisa Latinina, USSR, 8 Soyo Kato, Japan. The World Championships. The Gymnastic World Championships were first held for men in Belgium in 1903. Up until 1913, when they stopped, the championships were every 2 years. In 1922 the championships were brought back and were staged every 4 years. Since 1979 they have been held every 2 years. The Women's Championships were introduced in 1934. Winners of the most World Championship gold medals in gymnastics: 7 Dmitry Bilazerkev, USSR, 6 Yuri Korolev, USSR, 6 Vitaly Skurbo, Belarus, 6 Daniela Silivas, Romania. Gallery of Gymnastics. In gymnastics, there is no direct competition between competitors. Each gymnast has to perform to the highest standard he or she can manage. Judges are looking for perfection, and marks can be deducted for even the slightest errors. Parallel bars. This event is for men only. The gymnast performs swinging and balancing movements on the parallel bars. He will sometimes let go of the bar with both hands. The gymnast must have a strong upper body. The floor. This event is for men and women. The gymnast performs a routine of moves. The women's routine is set to music, and must last between 110 and 130 seconds. The men's lasts between 50 and 70 seconds. The rings are for men only. The gymnast completes swinging movements, and holds positions for at least 2 seconds. He should not allow the rings to swing during the routine. His arms are very strong. The beam. This event is for women only. The routine should flow smoothly, and take between 70 and 90 seconds to complete. The gymnast walks, runs, leaps, and rolls along the beam, keeping her balance. Horizontal bar. This event is for men only. The gymnast performs continuous swings and circular movements on a steel bar 240 cm, 94.5 in, wide, and 275 cm, 109 in, high. At least one release from the bar must be made. Pommel horse. This event is for men only. The gymnast holds himself above the horse with his hands. He must not touch the horse with the rest of his body. He makes continuous swinging movements with his legs. Vaulting horse. Both men and women perform exercises on the vaulting horse. Women jump over the width of the vaulting horse, and men jump over the length of it. The horse is set at different heights for men and women. Vaulting horse. Both men. Asymmetric bars. This event is for women only. The gymnast must move from bar to bar, using swinging and circular movements. The whole routine should be rhythmic and continuous. The bars are made of fibroblasts. Rhythmic gymnastics. In rhythmic gymnastics, women perform graceful routines set to music. They use small items of handheld equipment as part of their performances. Gymnasts can choose any of the following items: ribbon, hoop, ball, rope, or clubs. Whichever they choose, the judges are looking for smooth, flowing movements which fit the music. Gymnasts become very skilled in handling the equipment and using it to improve their routines. On the move, rhythmic gymnastics is always performed to music. Neither the equipment nor the gymnast must ever be still. Rules and regulations. Rhythmic gymnastics. All of the routines are performed on a mat 12 m, 13-yard, square. Each lasts between 1 minimum and the main rule is that both the gymnast and her chosen piece of equipment must keep moving at all times. The gymnast does not have to touch the item all through the performance. For example, the ball can be rolled along the floor, bounced, thrown, and caught. However, it must never be gripped. Similarly, the hoop can be thrown into the air, while the gymnast performs a forward roll on the mat. Sports acrobatics. Sports acrobatics is becoming very popular in schools, since it does not need any special equipment. The individual event is called tumbling, and competitors perform complicated twists, double and triple somersaults, or flips. There are also competitions for pairs, and teams of 3 or 4. In these events, the gymnasts show off their skills, strength, and mobility. There is even a mixed pairs event for a boy and a girl. Strength and style. Sports acrobatics demands the skills of flexibility and strength. In the team events, the timing of all moves must be perfect. Rules and regulations. Acrobatics. The tumbling exercise is usually performed on a strip of matting 20 m, 65 foot, long and 2 m, 6 foot, wide. The performers are judged on 2 runs. The first is known as the straight run, where the gymnast performs somersaults, forwards, backwards and sideways. Only turns of 180 degrees are allowed. The run must include 3 different somersaults and must end with a somersault. The second is called the twisting run, in which the competitor shows his or her ability to perform twisting somersaults. Again, this must end with a somersault. As with all gymnastic events, marks are lost if the competitor takes steps when landing. Neither tumbling run is performed to music. The pair and group exercises are performed on the floor area used in ordinary gymnastics. There are 2 different routines. The first is a balance exercise, where the gymnasts must show their ability to lift and balance their partners. This routine must include supports and pyramids. The second part is called the tempo routine, where the gymnasts demonstrate agile dance movements as well as somersaults in the air. Each of the exercises is performed to music, and the judges will knock off marks if they feel that the routine does not fit the music. The time allowed for each section is 2 to 3 minimum. Trampolining. A trampoline is a canvas sheet supported by springs in a metal frame. It is used as a springboard for jumping and tumbling. competitors perform acrobatic movements, such as twists and somersaults, after rebounding into the air from the trampoline. The best trampolinists can reach great heights before they land again, and perform complicated routines in mid-air. There is also synchronized trampolining for 2 or more performers. Keep in time. In synchronized trampolining, competitors perform routines in time with each other. This takes hours of practice. Rules and regulations. Trampolining. Trampolining competitions start with 2 routines. One is called the compulsory, where the performers have to carry out a number of standard tumbles and moves. The other is known as the optional. On this second run, the gymnast can choose which moves to do. However, on both routines the gymnast must not land on the trampoline more than 8 times. Marks are awarded according to the difficulty of the exercises and as to how well they are performed. The gymnasts with the best marks from these 2 rounds then perform another optional routine to find the winner of the competition. Weightlifting. Weightlifters try to lift the heaviest possible weight above their heads. The weights are fixed to the end of a metal barbell and the weightlifter uses chalk powder to help him grip the bar. In an international competition, there are 2 standard lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk. The snatch is contested first and each competitor has 3 attempts. A test of strength. Many champion weightlifters can raise twice their body weight in one single lift. Clean and jerk. In the clean and jerk, much heavier weights are lifted. Rules and regulations. Weightlifting. The competition area for weightlifting is a wooden platform 4 m, 13 foot, square. The barbell is 2.2 m, 7 foot 2.5 in, long and the weights are locked on to either end. There are 10 weight divisions for weightlifters. The winner of each division is the competitor whose best lift in the 2 sections, snatch and clean and jerk, adds up to the highest total weight. If there is a tie, victory goes to the lifter with the lowest body weight. Every competitor is allowed 3 lifts in each section, the weights usually getting heavier with each lift. The competitors can start at any weight they choose. When they are called to the platform for their turn, they have 1 minute to prepare themselves mentally and to start the lift. If the first lift is successful, he must try at least 5 kilograms, 11 pounds, more with his second attempt. If the lift is unsuccessful, he can either try the same weight again or take a chance on increasing it. 3 referees judge each lift. They press a white light to show that the lift is good and a red light if they think there is a fault. 2 white lights are needed for the lift to be judged a success. In the snatch, the bar and weights are lifted in one continuous movement from the floor to a position with the arms outstretched above the head. At the end of the lift, the feet must be still and the arms must be locked for 2 seconds for the attempt to be good. The clean and jerk has 2 movements. First, the bar is lifted from the floor to the chest without touching the body. Then it is raised from the chest to the outstretched position above the head. Again, the lifter's feet must be motionless at the end of the lift. It is possible to lift much heavier weights by the clean and jerk method.